Whoa, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Pro Winston here with a top 32 Toronto deck profile with Sean. Sean, what deck did you play?
Played Infernoids
Why did you play that deck?
because I think that Decatron's really good. It has very good matchups all across the board except for against Cosmo, which is pretty much auto lose. But I didn't expect to see that many Cosmos. So
What was your record at the end of day 2?
at the end of day 2, I was 8-2.
Oh, okay. And do you remember the 2 losses you had?
Yeah, I lost round 1 against Burning Abyss. He got really lucky. Like he called 4 off of when
Reasoning?
I reached, and he got it right like almost instantly. Game 1 and 2, and I probably misplayed somewhere in there, but I don't think so. And then the other loss was to Satella Knights, Vanity's Emptiness. This deck loses really.
Oh, so
hard
you
to-
didn't lose to the deck, you just lost to the card.
Yeah.
Well, let's go and check out the deck. Wait, look at that mat. Don't you like that mat?
Right. So
Look, YouTube. Okay, go ahead.
first card, 3 Decatron. This card is insane. It sends Infernos to the grave for just food, like fodder for the other ones. It allows you to use any effect in the deck. It allows you to pop cards, send cards back to the deck, bounce extra deck, bounce Dante, negates and stuff. It's the best card, the best Infernoid. 3 Harmodic. This guy pops like Valk, pops things that are too high to get over. Yeah, overall good card. 3 Petrulia allows you to push when you're like going for game or like trying to make a synchro play. He's pretty good with Decatron. 3 Atandal. This guy really allows you to like push in for damage, attacks twice, 2800 attack, can bounce it, can banish a card in your opponent's grave during either player's turn by triggering a monster. 2 Sightsmiths. This card is very good against Burning Abyss, but 2600 attack sometimes into other matchups just isn't good enough. So I only played 2. Played 2 Antra. This one's really good in the Burning Abyss matchup. I remember one time when I played against Burning Abyss, game 1, he made double Dante, set back row. I popped his back row with a Cyclone. Summoned Decatron, dumped this, bounced it to Dante. Summoned another one, the other one from my hand, bounced the other Dante. Made an Armades, killed his Graph that was summoned off Seer. The one-ofs, Charmaeus. This guy is okay. He's not that great. He's bad against Necros, pretty good against Burning Abyss, but most of their stuff's chainable. Like well, not chainable, but they activate it on summon if they're gonna activate it. But he's pretty neat. Nice to have on Decatron. 1 Nunku. He's good because he allows you to play like a control game against like Necros, negate all their mirrors, and big beater blows up towers. It's pretty nice. He's level 10. 1 Deviati. This card is really good against Talonite if you have a backup of a Void Seer, you summon it, blow up all their back row, they try to Fiendish Chain you Void Seer. Negates monster effects, which is very relevant. 1 Raiden. Just have it in there. It's another reasoning target. Mills cards. Is a tuner, which is really important. And yeah, it's pretty good. 3 Upstarts. Because you have to get to your reasoning as fast as you can. Like if you're reasoning for like a decent amount of monsters, usually are winning the game. 3 Drag Down into the grave. Shout out to Sean Rye. This card is another upstart, basically, because all your Infernoids that are in your hand are pretty much the same thing when they're in the grave. Also, you get to look at your opponent's hand, know exactly what cards they have, and get to take their best card away from them. 2 Void Seer. This card is really good against some matchups, like Satella Knight, because it stops their back row. Banish from grave effects pretty good when you get it off. 1 Monster Gate. Yeah, it's like basically reasoning, except you guaranteed to get a monster, which is sometimes a lot better. You should summon Decatron, send another one. It's really good. 3 Reasoning, best card in the deck. It hits basically, it sets up your grave so that you can go in for anything you want. It allows you to play some of your big guys like many times. Like, it's really good. 1 Galaxy Cyclone. I didn't want to lose automatically to Vanity's Emptiness in the main deck, so I decided to play Galaxy Cyclone, because if I'm playing like 1 MST, I'd rather get 2 uses out of it if I can. 1 1-for-1. This card summons Decatron. Really good. discards like your big monster, so it's not even like a discard really. One burial takes your monsters that are in your like all the monsters that you banish, puts them back in the grave, gives you more like summons. 3 main deck with stake. This card is insane against Necroz. If you flip this card, most of the time they just lose. I didn't play too many Necroz. I played like 2, but this card was great.
I might have to invest in this deck again. Okay.
2 breakthrough skill. This card is good in most matchups, and also it gets a bonus because you hit it off reasoning or something. You still get an effect off of it.
I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
How did you learn how to pronounce all these cards?
Time.
I don't. You're probably the first Infernoid player that pronounces all those cards. They just say Big B to this, Dark Hole this. Okay.
In the extra deck, I play one Maids. This card's probably one of the best 5s you can play. It's good against Burning Abyss. They don't get their effects. It's good against like Yangzing if there's ever any Yangzing. Yeah, it's pretty. It's probably the best rank 5, the best level 5 I can play. One Gaia the Force of Earth. You can play it because the level count on all the in order to summon them, you have to have 8 or lower stars of an effect monsters. So you play this, it's not an effect monster, you synchro into it, you can summon more cards. Scrap Archfiend, same thing, but a level higher. Yeah. Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. This card is very good against Shadalls because you summon it, and every time they fuse, it just goes straight back to the extra deck. Scrap Dragon. Only 8 I play. It allows me to clear off my levels on the board. It's combos with Draco Sack. It's very good. One Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. This card is very good when resolved. When this card resolves, you're winning the game most of the time. Like one Leo, Keeper of the Sacred Tree. He wins the matchup against Burning Abyss. He's very good against just a lot of decks. For the Xyz, one Evil Storm Exotonite. Just good against Klee. Good in most matchups if you're behind. Because a lot of the time you put all your resources into the grave, so you don't have a lot of cards. It's pretty good. One Castell to get rid of like problem floodgates like Imperial Iron Wall and anything else that might be trouble. Gemini Pearl. It's a normal monster, like not an effect monster, so it doesn't count for your level cap. It's a pretty big beater as well. For the rank 7s, one Draco Sack. This card is very good just to pop cards off. It allows you to make sure that you have a board next turn. And the tokens can actually be tributed off for the Infernoid effects. So, one number 11 Big Eye. I didn't make this the entire tournament, but I don't regret having it in there because it's very good when it resolves. You just take your opponent's cards. Red Eyes Metal Flare. This card is very good. It can't be destroyed by card effects, and when you summon this when your opponent's low on life points, they just can't activate anything. Otherwise they'll lose the game. For the rank 8s, I play Felgrand. This card is very good because you can summon it. It's an 8, so that you can still summon things when you have only this on the board, and it just allows you to push through back row, push through like Trish. I'll say the Sylvan High Protector.
What does that do?
Okay, so this card says, I'll read it off. Once per
No,
turn,
you don't have to read it. Let YouTube read it. Hold up. I got a high definition camera. Hold up.
So you basically declare a card name, middle of the top card of your deck. If you called it right, it goes to your hand. If you called it wrong, it goes to the grave. And once per turn, if a card goes to the grave by a card effect, you get to shuffle one card in the field back into the deck. So this card you called Reasoning, and then if you call it wrong, well, then you shuffle a card back. If you call it right, you get Reasoning. And this card's effect triggers off of Reasoning, because Reasoning sends a card from the deck to the grave. So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
For the side deck. 2, Chaos Hunter. This card summons off Reasoning. Stops your opponent from banishing. Good against Necroz. Good against Ritual Beasts. Yeah, Mirror. So can't play Iron Wall. Thunder King Ryo. This card,
self-explanatory.
Destroys Necroz. Spell Canceller. Destroys Necroz. Destroys.
Only one. Okay.
Yeah. 2 MST. Get rid of Floodgates. deal with Venity's Emptiness, stuff like that. Anything. 2 Mischief of the Gnomes. This card, when the turn it's activated, you with both the players' hand, the monsters in both players' hands levels are reduced by 1. So you activate it against Burning Abyss, and all their monsters are now level 2, so they can't make an exceed. Plus, when it's in the grave, you can banish it for the same effect. So you mill it off Reasoning, you can still get it. 2 Royal Decree, helps against trap-heavy decks, allows you to safely push for game. Good card. 2 Fairy Wind. This card is very good against Clifford. I didn't play any, but Trench Tribute. This card's good in a couple matchups, like against Tellarknight. And most of the things when your monsters die, you can summon them back. Like, 1 Chivalry. This card is good against Cosmo, and it's a matchup that I need this card for. And last is Vanity's Emptiness. This card wins game single-handedly. The last game of day 2, game 3, my ending board was Deviati, Thunder King, and I set Emptiness, and I activated Emptiness, he scooped. That's it.
Well, congratulations for topping, but I've heard something that I was concerned about. How many regionals or YCSs have you entered?
3 YCSs. I don't know how many regionals.
Will you be one of these players that travels consistently now that you're top?
Probably not too far.
Where are you from?
New York.
Oh, you by me.
Yeah.
I have a question though. I'm concerned because you can't come to Canada where there's a lot of good players, top here, and never be seen again, man. We need you at Dallas. We need you at the upcoming Florida. Oops, did I say that out loud? There's a couple of events that we need you at, man, with this deck. There's going to be a lot of people copying this build and trying to play it. Can you give any advice to those players?
Probably draw Reasoning.
Reasoning or die.
Yeah, if you draw Reasoning, you're probably gonna. Yeah. If you can draw Reasoning, you're probably gonna win. So.
Did you draw Reasoning all your games?
Not all the games. I know. Last game of day 1, I beat the guy with no Reasoning. Like he's playing Burning Abyss. He got I just destroyed him.
I have a question. How come you didn't run the new spell card, Void Purification?
Void Purification? What does that one do?
It's the Shaddoll Fusion from deck.
Oh, I thought it was Void Imagination.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Haven't played the deck in so long.
Because that card is just, it halves your damage, so you can't really kill your opponent. The fusion isn't even that good. Like,
yeah.
You have to use a lot of you have to they have to have an extract monster fuse from deck, and that doesn't happen.
You can also pop it with your own Galaxy Cyclone Petroleum push for game sometimes.
Yeah,
I know it's situational.
But that's in a dream scenario. Like, it's not always gonna happen.
Sean doesn't play dream scenarios. You already know. If it's not pro, he got to go. Deuces.